May profits be upon you. We're going to take a look at gold. All right, gold. I'm looking at gold on the future from a futures perspective. I'm looking for the looking at gold gold futures. I'm going to tell you why, but I'll let you do a comparison. First, let's talk about this. You can see price made a high, a higher high, a higher low, a higher high, higher low. What is this high? Well, it's not a higher high, all right? And because we haven't identified what that is yet, we can't identify this low. We can't identify that as a higher low. It looks like it, and if you want to discount this candle, this wick, because this was during I think this might have been a CPI. It was news, high impact news. I think it was CPI. It may not have been, might have been NFP. I don't know, but it was one of those, and it was a big one. And you might want to discount that. Some people do and say, yeah, just count it here. And so this becomes a, a technical high or equal high, right? And then price comes back down. I would call this a failure swing, a failure swing, a swing failure. All right. These swing highs making higher lows, and then this one did not take that out. And it looks like this may be a bearish move from this point. All right. I tend to like to see what the high to the low, or the low to the high is with the fibs, because this will give you a proper measurement of the retracement, and the retracement has already exceeded the 786 uh, uh, Fibonacci retracement level. All right, and that's usually, if it gets past here, uh, it's usually telling me that it's probably gonna fail. It's gonna we're gonna get a market structure break. You know, sometimes it doesn't happen, but most oftentimes it does. So, what is that telling me? What I need to take a harder look. There is a sizable volume imbalance here. Some people will treat that the exact same way as a fair value gap. All right, they're not equal. They're not equal. With you can treat them that way if you want to. I make a note of it, and I say, has price reacted to it? All right. Uh, uh, you can see price pulled up here and then continue down, forming a bearish order block. This here, folks, is a bearish order block, right? Because spice prices coming in kind of gap toothy. You'll see it a little clearer on the with the CFDs. All right, uh, but just know that with this kind of move, boom, once it goes past there, we have formed an order block. But I don't. All order blocks aren't made the same. I need to see, in the formation of order blocks, I need to see a gap form, a fair value gap. Now, where is that fair value gap? I have one marked there. This low and this high forms that fair value, a bearish fair value gap. And I look for how price reacts to it. Well, there was no follow through after this candle here. There was no follow through. Not a good sign, really. Do that. All right. So can I get a straight line now? Yeah, thank you. All right. Now, uh, because price came all the way back up here and tested that gap, all right, the next candle formed, opened here, and that's above the gap, right? Came down, then pushed up, and then settled back down with a break and close above this fair value gap. All right, and then you see the next candle comes down, retest it, and right now forming a doji, but uh, I think it's likely this will be our draw on liquidity. All right. I was hoping it would be this here. This would be our next draw on liquidity. I'm looking for price to come back down, but because there's no bearish fair value gaps being formed, and the one that did form was overtaken, and we see a test to the upside, I'm inclined to think this price is reaching here, and the next place will be here. All right, so I'm going to mark those, and I'm going to go down to the 4 hour, and I want you to see what I see. Okay, you see the fair value gap, right? You see our price came back up to it, tested it, rejected from it, and then overtook it with a break and close, a very strong break and close above it, and then we traded above these highs here. All right, there was an order block here, and we've taken out that PD array. So you can see why I'm inclined to think price is going to probably look into taking at least the halfway point, the consummate encroachment of this candlestick here. I mean, this wick. All right, watch. Uh, there, I'm looking for a what do you call this? A fair value gap here. This is a bullish fair value gap. There is no denying that price formed the fair value gap and haven't and hasn't retested it. Has not retested it yet. Price came back down at the at this fair value gap from the daily, right, and overtook it, and we danced on top of it, and still respecting this bearish, excuse me, this bearish fair value gap, but now is an inverted fair value. We have an inversion going on over here, an inversion fair value gap. I think either it's inverted or an inversion fair value, one or the other. All right, but the FVG is what I'm talking about. This inverted one here, and we can expect have a good reason to expect price to go higher. Okay. Again, we have a bullish fair value gap down here that price has not retested yet. So, and I'm looking for bearish fair value gaps. All right. So, and those were not formed. All right. The ones that were formed been over, that has been overtaken. There's another one up here. All right. So I'm going to mark it, and we'll see what happens when price gets up this way. But we still have to hit this mark first. Okay. So I'm going back to the daily. And so what are my expectations? Price may hit here, and and if it depending on how it breaks and closes this, if we get a break and close, we get some uh, momentum. If we see bullish fair value gaps being formed on the 4 hour or the lower time frames as it's breaking this, hey, price is probably going to the next one. You understand? It may wick past this one, just like it wicked here. It may wick past this one and then continue down. Or we're going to watch and see. Prices already gone past the midpoint of this this volume, this imbalance, this volume imbalance, and rebalanced it 85-90% of it already. So, this is why I was thinking that price would come down, but because there's no bearish fair value gaps forming towards the bottom and towards this drawn liquidity, and the fact that the fair value gap that did form, the bearish one that did form, is now an inverted fair value gap and pushing price to the upside. I'm thinking that in the near term, uh, price may take that high out, and I'm going to watch it very closely. This is a wait and see approach because uh, you have to also look at this is the if this is the dealing range, we're right in the middle. This is not where you want to be taking trades, right? Let Monday happen. Let the market unfold, and then make an assessment. All right, this is not clear. The bias is not clear yet. I'm not. We're not 100% sure this is a failed uh, swing. A failure swing. All right. We don't know that until it breaks. Price breaks this. Then we know, once we get a market structure break, we know that this is a failed swing. This becomes a an indication that price is going to go lower. But this once it breaks that low, that's when it's confirmed. You understand? All right. So while price may be finding some reason to consolidate here, we got to wait until it makes a hard move with a fair value gap. And once we see that fair value gap, whether it goes up or whether it goes down, when we see it, then we'll have a good indication as to which way price is going to go, towards this drawing liquidity or the low. All right. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it gives you something to consider and it helps and you find a benefit in it. Please leave a comment, leave me some feedback, because I like to hear it from my viewers. And I want you to trade carefully. Monday and Tuesday, uh, take it easy. Be cautious, because Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that's when the news is coming out for those interest rate decisions for Japan, Europe, and uh, who was it? Canada. All right, and you're going to have some red folders for U.S. dollars. So throughout the week. So hey, be careful. Be careful this week. Wait and see. And I will see you in the next video. May profits be upon you.